one, starting with the Department of Justice, they have arrested 15 Antifa members as a result of their violent intimidation that went down in the Minneapolis chaos. And the man who's responsible for setting a cross on fire in downtown Chicago, he just did an interview with the local affiliate news channel. Wait till you hear why he did it.
Well, the Department of Justice continuing to crack down on political violence across the United States, announcing new charges against 15 anti-ICE agitators in Minnesota with alleged ties to Antifa. Former acting ICE Director Jonathan Fahey joins us now. So these defendants were charged with conspiracy to impede or injure a federal officer, solicitation to commit a crime of violence, interstate stalking, assault on a federal officer, destruction of government property. All of them charged under a single indictment.
And this also kind of brings to the attention that a lot of people have been talking about these protests as more than maybe the first time, but just something in black and white. And it just shows how serious it is.
It's absolutely a serious thing because the society cannot flourish when it allows chaos to continue to go unchecked. That's exactly what Antifa represents: mayhem and chaos. And the interesting part about all this, Democrats, which is a political party who claims they want to keep their constituents safe. They are a party in regards to protecting the working class. They have a funny way of showing it because they are not the party to put Antifa in check and hold them accountable for their violent crimes, which in case you need a reminder of how violent they could be, here's one of evidence that led to one of the 15 members being arrested. Take a look at this.
They fucked up. Okay, go watch my other videos. Doesn't matter if you're not here and you're not caught up. You've missed the fucking fight. But if you are, it's time to suit up. Boots on the ground. Nicollet and fucking 26th. My house is 4 blocks away. Anywhere between Franklin and Nicollet and 26th and Nicollet. Show up, ready to go. Okay, not talking about peaceful protests anymore. We're not talking about having polite conversations anymore. Sorry, but welcome to America 2026, where Second Amendment is the only thing that's going to keep you fucking protected from literal fucking Nazi gunmen that are killing innocent people in the street with impunity. This is not a fucking joke. There's nothing fun to chant about it. Get your fucking guns and stop these fucking people.
Isn't it interesting that we have verifiable evidence, audio, video, images of Democrats getting violent and the political party themselves have looked the other way? Isn't that interesting? This is why I give them no credibility on the issue of crime. And we know the American people believe it too, because polls show that the American people trust Republicans over Democrats as it relates to crime. And I think we know why that is, because the Democrat Party would rather defund the police than support the police and in an effort to make sure that the people of these neighborhoods are safe. And groups, radical groups, that is, like Antifa, cannot go in there into a particular city, burn the place up, vandalize businesses, and get away with it, including assault law enforcement officials.
Antifa, it's like a shadow militia. They show up at all these protests and agitate things, which is ironic because I thought the left hated militia. Every Democrat going back for the last 25 years has tried to put right-wing militias on a list, even though militia is in the Second Amendment. But they're like purple-haired freak shows that make up Antifa. They're protected by the left claiming they don't exist.
Do you disavow the violence from Antifa that's happening in Portland right now? There's riots.
That's a myth that's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
Antifa is an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia.
We look at Antifa as more of an ideology or a movement than an organization.
Which is the wing of their party. The propaganda wing, North Korea, China, Hitler's Germany, were all only able to be successful as leaders by convincing the masses with the aid of heavy propaganda.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Now, if you guys can just do DeVory a quick favor, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Some people say they are, some people say they're not. Some people thought they were. Please confirm that. Like this video at this point and share it with your family and friends. It'd go a long way in your support for the show, which I'm so grateful for. And thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Carl hit it on the head. In fact, we're going to show you a clip here where these law enforcement officials who arrested these 15 members were being heckled in the process. So if Antifa wasn't an organization, if they were not a thing, why would someone be heckled for law enforcement officials arresting a member of the Antifa organization? That's an interesting question. As a matter of fact, let's go to that now.
I got you.
I very much like this is to call him.
We'll do it.
It's spelled R-I-C-H.
612-444-2654. Nazis. Fucking pig.
Shame on you.
Nazis. Fucking Nazis. Get the fuck out of our neighborhood. Look at them. Fat pieces of shit. Get the fuck out of here. Lazy motherfuckers. Go!
Unfortunately, these are Americans who have been hijacked by propaganda. They do not think for themselves. They do not care about facts. They only see the world through their particular lens. And their lens tells them that everything is President Trump's fault, and that the DOJ is corrupt and ICE agents are the ones terrorizing neighborhoods. And while they're doing all that, they have no energy and no focus on actual criminals in our country, whether we're talking about stone cold pedophiles, killers, drug traffickers, gang members. They don't have any energy for those people, even though we know those people are a nuisance on our society. That's why, again, I tell you, I don't really take these people seriously, because they're not actually going after true criminals. Okay, let's go to the representative from the DOJ, the U.S. attorney, assistant U.S. attorney, who had this to say about it all.
As the name suggests, Direct Action Minnesota is an organization dedicated to direct action against federal law and immigration enforcement. This action is not peaceful. It's obstructive, disruptive, and unlawful. Though investigations are ongoing, what we know now is that Direct Action Minnesota is comprised of members of subgroups. For example, the Black Hat Workers Collective. The Black Hat Workers Collective is a Minneapolis-based Antifa affinity group which advocates, promotes, and utilizes militant tactics and violence. Here you can see that their Facebook cover page shows as a banner the burning down of the Minneapolis Police Department's 3rd precinct.
So you have politicians downplaying this in the face of that particular piece of evidence, including the video clip we showed you of one of the members calling for people to show up with their firearms in order to take on ICE agents. And so politicians look the other way. We know the Democrat as a whole, DNC, definitely looks the other way. And unfortunately, there are media networks out there that also do the same thing. For an example, MSDNC, in response to these arrests, you know what they're doing? They're downplaying all of this and questioning whether or not the DOJ actually has evidence to convict these people.
This is Trump's DOJ claiming that this was a kind of Antifa plot. That is a group that is seen as sort of anti-fascist or potentially progressive, and whether they are actually organized and there's evidence to support it here is what's going to be tested. But it accuses these individuals of preventing by force, intimidation, and threats DHS officers from their duties.
Okay, let's just pause and go back down memory lane. They were setting up barricades. They were blocking roads. They were checking IDs. They were recording people's license plates. They would pull people over themselves. They would run their own security. They definitely got into confrontations with ICE agents. They prevented them from doing their duties because they would block traffic. They would get involved when an arrest was happening, i.e. Alex Preddy. They were blocking the road, like I just stated, like a Renee Good. So yeah, there's definitely evidence. And here's the other thing I want to hear from the DOJ. What about this individual who's affiliated with the CCP, who was funding the logistics on the ground? Where's his conviction? I can't wait to hear that. I hope they're going after him.
Now, question, as I mentioned, is not whether that could be a crime. It could. But do they have the evidence? The U.S. attorney, this is the person in DOJ working under the Trump administration, didn't exactly have a lot of specifics.
What kind of injuries did officers sustain as part of these campaigns, if any? Can you elaborate on that?
I can't elaborate on that today.
What evidence do you have?
I mean, at this point, you guys tell me what you think about this particular story. Do you think these 15 members of Antifa will actually be convicted and sent to jail for what happened in Minnesota as it led to the intimidation of federal law enforcement agents? Please, I really want to know what you guys think. Put your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's move to our next story. And this is a story that every network should be covering. And I want you to notice how no one is talking about this. And you want to know why that is? Because this story contradicts their narrative. We are talking about the cross that was set on fire and staged in downtown Chicago. The initial reaction was a MAGA affiliate white nationalist, also known in their words, a white supremacist, had did this act. But wait till you see the man actually behind this crime. Take a look.
The young shirtless man running from a burning cross in Grant Park was a nameless person of interest in a Chicago police arson investigation and subject of a possible FBI hate crime case. NBC5 Investigates has now interviewed the man who admits burning the cross. University of Illinois Chicago senior Merlin Liu says he knew the implications of a burning cross and had placed a MAGA hat atop the cross, explaining his motivation was to protest Trump administration injustice, not something racist.
How did you land on a burning cross?
Just, it came up to my head one day. I wanted to find something that I could do by myself, like no organization, no friends, no. I did know about this historical relevance beforehand, but I didn't know the severity, how racially motivated it may seem from what I did.
I mean, there's just so much there, and I want to show you his rationale behind doing this, including how he doubled down on threatening the president of the United States. But first, I got to share this message from our sponsor today, Incogni. I don't know if you guys know this, but every time you receive a spam call, that's a clear sign that actually unneeds you to protect personal data no longer, and you're going to get the description, which is why major networks, your blackity black folks, Al Sharptons of the world, they don't have anything to say. The mayor doesn't even have anything to say. Don't you guys find that interesting? So it's okay to put up a burning cross with a MAGA hat on top because it's directed at President Trump. So when it comes to racism and these dog whistles, as they like to call it, it's perfectly fine as long as they are directed towards people we disagree with. But imagine if someone who was MAGA affiliated, who did something like that. Imagine if a neo-Nazi did that. Oh my God. I mean, the world would just fall apart right now.
Because my protest has nothing to do with race, nothing to do with gender.
Should you have done it some other way?
Yeah, probably.
Merlin Liu is a 21-year-old Naperville native.
And Liu rips this forehand shot.
That's him playing tennis at Neuqua Valley High School, where he was graduated in 2022. Last week, Liu sent this scripted video to NBC, claiming responsibility for the cross burning, but saying he had no affiliation with the Ku Klux Klan, apologizing to those who were offended. In the video, he also criticized President Trump.
I don't want to wait till his term ends. I don't want to wait until he may or may not get impeached. I want him gone right now.
Are you witnessing what's going on in our country at this point? Again, why is nobody talking about this? We have another exhibit right here in front of us showing how radical they have become in a violent way. This is a man calling for the removal of the president of the United States, not in 2 years in the form of an election. No, he wants him gone now. And let's not even get into what we heard in the beginning of this video, where someone was calling for firearms to be brought to the scene of law enforcement officials executing their constitutional duty.
Video, are you threatening him?
No.
You say that you think that he should be brought to an end.
I said he deserves to stand trial to the American people. Some paraphrase, I guess. But
I think you use the word end.
That's what I mean by end. I mean by end, I don't mean like a civil war, if that's the...
And then what do you mean? You see, you can't have it both ways. You can't call for the end of someone. You can't call for the removal of someone. You can't do it like the guy earlier in this video, call for firearms to be brought to the scene if you mean not to be violent. Come on now. And this is an insult on our intelligence. But this is what they do, a play on words. They misuse words. They try to change the definitions because they want it their way, people, and they don't want to accept any consequences. Now, I guess he does deserve a little credit because he's the one that not only admitted it, shot a video, reached out to the networks. Essentially, he's smart enough to get ahead of this story. And also, there was a priest that put up a $10,000 award to find this individual. Not too sure he's going to pay the $10,000 because the individual essentially turned himself in. He has not been arrested. There have been no charges announced. We haven't even heard from the DOJ in regards to investigating this and where they're at in the process. So maybe that all remains to be seen. But the reason why I wanted to go over this video or this particular story is because it just demonstrates when the media likes to pick and choose. This is a story that does not fit their narrative. This is a story that probably won't get a lot of people's attention because the main individual in the story is an Asian man. Now, imagine if it was a white, blue, blonde individual who identified with the Republican Party. They'd be all over him. So maybe we're just highlighting the double standard. Clearly, this man was ignorant. He's losing a couple of screws, in my opinion. He wants the president gone. I mean, I think I made my point from here, right? In both of these stories, Democrats continue to lean on radicalism, and this is exactly what you get as a result.
Oil manufacturers out of California, suing them, shaming them, passing a bill designed to make the next refinery that gets built in California unprofitable. So refineries in California keep closing. The supply chain keeps getting longer. The bill, of course, to pay all this stuff lands on the working class people that Sacramento claims to represent. This week, though, makes the story unavoidable. Oil prices just dropped hard because the U.S. and Iran cooled off after weeks of military tension. Reuters reported crude falling about 5% to a 3-month low yesterday, June 16th. So the Iran de-escalation helped everybody, including California, but it didn't erase California's structural premium. The state still sat at $571 while the national average was $404. So global oil still matters, but California adds its own premium on top of all of this. And that premium comes from policy, from geography, from special fuel rules, from taxes. And then there's shrinking refinery base because California is chasing out all the refineries. Sacramento built a fuel island